with the reward.
In my opinion, this has to feel awkward for the wrestlers about to compete in these matches, because while we can hear the edited entrance themes, no one competing can hear their own music and are making their entrances to nothing.
Calm down, Princess Corbin.
Hey! You don't say that shit about King manners, AJ. He is a king, not a princess. Plus, I think you meant to say queen. Seeing Asuka begin the match up there, prepare to leap onto the rest of the women below was a cool way to begin this epic fight to the roof. She had a lot of perfect strategies, and they worked, too. Otis doesn't realize that the referees are on the roof, waiting for them. The referees following the wrestlers around the hallways would be pointless since they can't do anything, and the wrestlers can't win until they get to the roof. Asuka is fresh, right? So why didn't she immediately get off her opponents and then start running? That's what I would have done. Also, the bell rang for the match to start before Asuka leaped off the balcony, which means she could have easily just turned around, jumped over the glass, and ran to the elevator, literally standing behind her. That was her chance to get a head start. Alright, Asuka had many smart strategies, but this is clearly not one of them.
Meanwhile, thousands of miles away.
Alright, I gotta take another sit off for King Corbin having that, oh no, my dad's gonna kill me for what I did look on his face. Although, I don't get what the King is so nervous about. The WWE allowed the wrestlers to fight at their global headquarters. What did they think was gonna happen? Did they actually believe that everything in the building would remain untouched and unbroken? Because if they did, they're even bigger idiots than I thought. AJ Styles actually believed that throwing a wastebasket with only a few tissues would give any sort of damage to Otis. The Undertaker must have given him one too many shots to the head prior to the burial. Truthfully, if I were in this match, I would have waited for the right opportunity when everyone else was occupied with each other and snuck out of the gym, running like hell to the roof. Even with the camera pointed behind Aleister Black, I could still see him block with his hand, so the Ow My Hand sin still activates. Man, such power I possess. We are in a gym, a place where there's metal and glass everywhere you look, but let's throw Otis into the not-so-dangerous towel box. I'm sure that will work to perfection. Now that is a smart strategy to use in this race to the roof. Trapping AJ Styles underneath a bench press bar with many weights on it was awesome. This match is only a couple minutes long, and personally I wouldn't mind if it went on for an hour, and it's already chock full of goodies, and we haven't even reached the goodies part of the headquarters.
Ray, get it off of me, man!
AJ actually believed that Rey Mysterio would help him by getting the weights off of him. I think the two reasons Rey declined were because AJ is an asshole, and Rey was much smaller than him, thus he isn't exactly the right guy to ask for help in this scenario. AJ Styles auditioning for the role of Finn in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, but unfortunately he couldn't yell Rey as annoyingly as John Boyega, which might explain why he won the role instead. Given how far away AJ is from the gym's exit, how are we able to hear him crying as if the walls are freaking thin?
Look at AJ's chest!
What? Rey Mysterio hears a toilet flush and automatically assumes that one of the wrestlers momentarily paused in the race to go to the bathroom. Even if one of them did, why would Rey stop to try and fight them when he'd have an easier advantage continuing the race? And thus begins one of the many excellent cameos by WWE legends alike. You see, this is how you deliver nostalgia the proper way. A small cameo for a laugh. Yelling at the elevator and pressing the button many times ain't gonna make it come any faster. Based on when we saw Asuka in the elevator earlier, there are clearly cameras in there, yet we don't get to see the fight inside the elevator from these four. There are clearly another flight of stairs going up the building, yet Lacey Evans, Carmella, and Shayna Baszler decide to simply run through another hallway instead of continuing the run up to the roof. Since we all figured the men and women would collide with each other at some point in this race, missed opportunity to have an intergender fight. I mean, I know it does later on, but that's with food. If I were Asuka, I'd just press the button to close the elevator door and continue my ride to the top of the building while hiding myself. Also, why does Asuka exit the elevator? Like seriously, a lot of decisions by these wrestlers have many flaws with simple solutions. What or who is Aleister Black looking at? From the direction he's facing, he's clearly looking at the doorway leading into this room where there are no wrestlers fighting or running. Also, once again, if I were in this match, I'd take a quick peek to make sure nobody's watching me and then run like hell out of the room, instead of slowly escaping and allowing the rest of my competition to chase me. Funny sight to see Otis cheering on Daniel Bryan kicking a trapped King Corbin. Of course we know he isn't the brightest, but I'm sure even he knows the prize is on the roof, not in this hallway. Well, that's what you get for wasting time, I suppose. And now the Yes Fest continues on Otis. And yeah, I said Yes Fest. That sounds better than Yes Kicks. Also, what happened to Lacey Evans and Carmella during this brawl? I know Shayna Baszler left to go after Asuka, but the rest of the ladies were still present in the room. Seeing a Doink the Clown impersonator just gives me creepy vibes that this might possibly be Pennywise the Dancing Clown about to eat Otis and the King. Run!
Tell me where that briefcase is.
Is Dana Brooke serious? Shayna Baszler doesn't need to tell her where the freaking briefcase is at all. Everybody should know by now where the fucking briefcase is. It's on the freaking roof! Nia Jax already has a history of injuring her opponents, so why would Carmella slap her like an idiot? If you slap someone who's potentially dangerous to be within the ring, you deserve whatever that someone is going to do to you. Now is your chance to shut the door and continue running, Shayna. Since Dana is down and Nia is occupied with Carmella, close the door and run. Should buy you a little time to slow them down. Not to mention, Asuka is still way ahead of you all. This is much worse than a stare down in the ring, because in this case, this is not a match. This is a race! You can't be serious. Dana Brooke actually believes she won the Money in the Bank briefcase in a random conference room on what I think is the 3rd or 4th floor? Was she asleep or not paying attention when they clearly mentioned the prizes on the roof? Also, whose bright idea was it to place a random fake Money in the Bank briefcase on the ceiling of the most random room you could think of? Was it possibly the same guy whose bright idea it was to put a cage fence on the ceiling of the conference room at the WWE Performance Center, just on the very case someone would scale it? Also, this makes us feel bad for Dana Brooke, believing she won by unhooking a decoy briefcase and is the closest she'll ever get to a major victory. Hope I'm wrong, but for now...
Hey, Dana. What are you doing?
Obvious edited footage of Stephanie McMahon in a much brighter and different room is obvious. Was she seriously not available to appear in the doorway of this room?
This is the Money in the Bank conference room.
Still doesn't explain why someone would put a decoy briefcase in the middle of the table, unless it was placed to tempt an employee to suddenly jump the table and unhook it. Now that I'd love to see. Anyone else?
The real Money in the Bank briefcase is on the roof.
Something Dana Brooke should have easily known, but somehow didn't.
Clean that up.
Stephanie McMahon explains to Dana Brooke about where the Money in the Bank briefcase is, but then proceeds to distract her by giving her sanitation work. Oh, the irony of the picture Carmella chose to destroy. You'd think she would want a portrait of herself with a briefcase from 2017 to be in good shape, but I guess not. And now Carmella is full of static electricity. Her opponents better beware of her new powers because it's going to be a shocker. Okay, that was horrible. I'm sorry. Why was Lacey Evans just waiting for someone to exit that room when she could have been taking advantage of that?
Where are you, Ray?
The real question is, how the fuck did AJ Styles manage to escape being trapped under those weights? First, someone helped him escape being buried alive by The Undertaker, and now someone helped him escape being trapped under weights. Either someone helped him, or he obtained supernatural powers from The Undertaker himself. Also, looking for Rey Mysterio should be the least of AJ's worries when the Money in the Bank contract is the real prize of the race. You're gonna fuck who?
I'm gonna find you, little Ray Ray.
It's Ray. Just plain Ray. Oh, wait, that's in a movie. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Though I think AJ is losing his mind talking to a portrait of Rey Mysterio. As awesome as this moment is, you mean to tell me that there's a room looking exactly like this in the headquarters on any random business day in the office? Or is this the Undertaker's office?
No!
Since that door was never locked in the first place, couldn't AJ simply get up and reopen it? Why believe he is trapped in there? Okay, the random sight of Paul Heyman surrounded by a buffet of food was one of the best moments of this match, and I'm loving every moment of this. Although, this was a missed opportunity to have Vicky Guerrero hanging out with Paul, so that when the commotion began, she could yell, "Excuse me," get covered in food, and scream like she usually does.
Food fight!
This entire food fight, and that's a good thing. And the sight of Dana Brooke running with a Carmella portrait still attached to her head made the comedy of the scene even better. Let's go! Hell yeah, Shayna Baszler will kill anyone, man or woman, and that's why she is fucking awesome. Although, need I remind everyone that Asuka has a massive head start over literally all of you. The fact that she doesn't already have the Money in the Bank briefcase is surprising given how much time has passed. Poor Ray, crushed by the two biggest competitors in both matches, and I'm amazed he's still going after all the damage he suffered. This scene would have been 10 times funnier if Nia Jax threw Dana Brooke into the soda machine and actually got a soda as a result of it. Also, what doesn't make any sense about this is the machine is clearly a Coca-Cola machine, but there's not one single Coca-Cola inside. Doesn't that just piss you off when you see those kind of machines? Hard to tell if Carmella is unconscious because of being put through the table or just because she was tired and wanted to take a nap. Hey, if things don't work out with Mandy Rose, Otis has another option. Although, I really wish these two would also fight. There aren't any rules about whether or not males can fight females, as we seen with Shayna and Ray moments ago.
Oh yeah!
Otis's reaction to seeing the dessert counter was fucking hilarious. So many awesome moments in this match. The fuck is John Laurinaitis even doing in the dessert area? And it's been 8 years since he got his ass kicked by John Cena. Does he seriously still need that scooter? Yeah! But of course, seeing John Laurinaitis get humiliated in some way is always fun to watch. Oh bullshit, there is no way in hell that Asuka was that close to the rest of the competition who fought in the Money in the Bank conference room and had a food fight. No way in hell. Also, if it turns out that Asuka was taking a breather, calling a friend, or just yelling at random employees, why didn't we get to see any of that? It at least explained why the rest of the competition is catching up to her as fast as they did. Could have been easily avoided if you simply ran on the side that did not have a caution wet floor sign. And what do we see here? More flights of stairs, which continues to prove my point that the easy strategy was right there and all the twists and turns could have been avoided. Would have been less entertaining, but at the same time the smartest strategy to get to the roof faster for the competitors. Okay, I have very high suspicions that AJ Styles has teleportation powers because how the hell did he get here before Aleister Black or Daniel Bryan? And how did he know they were going to show up in this room? For the CEO of WWE, the office of Vince McMahon doesn't look nearly as fancy as we believed it would be. Since AJ and Daniel show the respect to their boss, I wonder how they didn't figure about them heading straight toward Vince's office when they were fighting. Hey, you're the one who allowed these wrestlers to fight in your headquarters. It's your own fault for not expecting them to come bursting into your personal office. And now that I think about it, why didn't Vince simply lock his door so that neither Daniel Bryan nor AJ Styles could come bursting into his office? Did he actually think they wouldn't show up at some point since they gotta start at the lobby and work their way to the roof? Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles giving Vince the he started it treatment. I understand the part where they respect Vince, but did they have to go to the children are in trouble with a parent route? Now this just made the scene all the more better. Let's get the room straightened up and keep the chairs in their proper place. Also, I wonder how Vince will react when he realizes there was a lot of broken glass in the gym. Shame we didn't get to see that. And now let me continue writing a message to my friend Donald Trump and hope that we can find a way to convince the government to allow WWE to have my events hosted with fans again.
You're the one who told us to put the chairs back.
These two are seriously still arguing with each other like children. With all due respect, can we please get back to the Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yeah!
And now King Corbin has been hiding in that conference room? Why wasn't he heading to the roof as well? Especially since Daniel and AJ were distracted and occupied with Vince McMahon. Also, wait a minute, the King left his scepter in the gym on the ground floor, which means after the many brawls he was involved in, he actually went all the way back down the floors to the gym, grabbed his scepter, ran back up the stairs, caught up to the rest of the competition, and somehow got to the roof first before the rest of the male competitors did. Not to mention, it's only been a couple of minutes since we last saw the King get his ass kicked in the food fight. He's got lightning quick speed for someone his size, which makes me ask why he didn't use that to his advantage to get the briefcase. Where the hell did... Oh, fucking forget it, never mind. At this point, everybody's got teleportation power, so let's roll with it. That unintentional yet hilarious dance move Aleister Black just did after getting punched by the King. Damn it, King Corbin completely missed the portrait of this year's Super Showdown event. Would have been a perfect way for the King to say this event was stupid by tossing AJ Styles into the portrait of the show. But oh well.
I'm going to the roof!
Well, it's about fucking time that you decide to go to the roof. What the hell was your plan the rest of this time? Also, why would you announce that and alert the competition of your intentions? Really bad luck right there. They said that WWE Global Headquarters is a 10-story building, and from what we've seen, these guys have only gone through 5 or 6 floors, which means there were a bunch of deleted scenes from other floors throughout this match. I want to see footage of that too. Now, come on, admit it. How cool would it have been if the entire pay-per-view took place on the roof of WWE headquarters instead of just this one match? A perfect atmosphere for an event with no fans allowed. The fact that Asuka made it to the roof first because she got shoved up there when in reality she won the briefcase like 10 minutes ago. A lot of mishaps and timing errors throughout this match. Good lord, that press slam from Nia Jax was just downright awful. Since this was cinematically shot like a movie, couldn't they just retake that move and make it look better? Or did Nia fail 10 times and the director got tired and decided, alright, we're good, moving on. Carmella, I can understand not making it in time because she got crushed through a table by Nia Jax. And Dana Brooke, I can see why she didn't make it to the roof in time because she slipped on a wet floor and hit her head. But the last we saw of Shayna Baszler was her getting pushed against a wall with not so much force. You mean to tell me she didn't recover and make it to the roof in time before Asuka won? Sorry, but I could see the ladder missing Nia completely in that scene. How many times have I face-palmed tonight? What is up with this scene? Asuka attacks King Corbin, who's not even a threat to her or her chances of winning. And the King is telling her no so many times. Instead of fighting with each other, why couldn't both Asuka and King Corbin unhook their respective briefcases at the same time and win their matches? The chance was right there. Let's be realistic here. The food fight is still going on during the scene of Asuka unhooking the Money in the Bank briefcase. Also, I would give Asuka props by removing 5 sins because since this match was for the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka becomes the first female to win all women's titles on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, the Tag Team titles, the Royal Rumble, and the Money in the Bank. She's earned it all, especially with her head start and smart strategies throughout the duration of this match.
Indeed, an historic moment tonight.
What, was Michael Cole and Corey Graves just kicking back watching this match and then speaking about who wins? Michael sounds like he is tired. Whoa, where the hell did Asuka go? She was posing on the ladder not even 20 seconds ago, and now all of a sudden she is gone? My theory might be true. We interrupt Money in the Bank 2020 to bring you Money in the Bank 2010 when the Big Show had problems climbing the ladder due to his size. Also, you could clearly see Otis stomp his foot on the ladder rung and break it on purpose, so nice try in your attempt to look too big to climb it. Also, even if that wasn't the case, we have clearly seen freaking Mark Henry climb a regular ladder with no problems whatsoever, and he is much bigger than Otis, so I call bullshit on the he can't climb due to his size scene. Once again, we got the all competitors team up against the biggest threat in a multi-man match cliche. All that is missing is the burying him under ladder scene. King Corbin is a murderer. Also, unfortunately, even the WWE had to admit that both Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black had fallen onto a second roof only 6 feet below this one after the clear evidence that being thrown off the roof did not cause them to fall to their deaths. Also, even if we never saw what was under this roof, the fact that we heard a collapse not even a second after Rey and then Aleister disappeared made it more obvious that they weren't thrown off to their deaths. And look at this camera shot. Since both Rey and Aleister were thrown onto the second roof below literally seconds ago, they should be visible in this shot right here. And yet they have magically disappeared into thin air. What the hell is Elias doing here? I get that he was in a feud with King Corbin at the time, but what was he doing at the headquarters all this time? Alright, I'm throwing away 5 sins. To see Otis accidentally win the Money in the Bank ladder match because of AJ Styles suffering from a case of Butterfingers was the perfect way for him to win. And Otis was an absolute star throughout the race to the roof as well. That was fucking epic.
Yo, Mandy! I did it!
Discount Mick Foley.